Hello and welcome to this zTPFGI demonstration. This is the final demo in a series of demonstrations on zTPFGI's transaction recording and examination facility for the zTPF operating system, zTREX. In this demo, we'll take a look at the zTREX analysis area. You can find out how to record a transaction in zTPFGI by watching the first demo entitled zTREX Transaction Recording, and you can watch the second demo, zTREX Layout, to get an overview of the layout of zTREX. We can start off by adding a transaction by double-clicking it. The analysis area consists of a list of transactions that have been added to view, and the data display area. As you can see, the data display area is already showing summary data for this transaction. To make reading the data easier, any data fields that are empty or zero are simply not shown. To give us more space to look at the analysis area, let's just unpin the File Groups window. Now let's take a closer look. If we expand the transaction in the list, we can see the ECBs in that transaction. Similarly, we can expand each ECB to see the programs. The tabs provide different views of the data collection. Let's take a look at each in turn. The Input tab shows the command that we entered into the terminal to run this transaction. The CPU tab shows a pie chart of CPU usage. We can change the data that we view by changing our selection in the transaction list. For example, we're currently viewing CPU utilization times for each of the ECBs in this transaction. We can view the CPU usage for each program in an ECB simply by clicking that ECB. And we can limit our view by selecting specific items. In this case, the chart shows the CPU usage for the selected programs. We can also choose the measurement units that we want to view the CPU data in. To change units, just right-click the chart or table that includes CPU data and select the required measurement unit. We can select seconds to view the CPU time in seconds, milliseconds to view it in thousandths of seconds, or microseconds to view it in millionths of seconds. In this instance, the CPU usage for each ECB for this transaction is shown, but we could just as easily compare transactions or programs or other ECBs simply by changing our selection. This is true of all the analysis charts and tables in zTREX. We can select any items, and as long as these items are all at the same level and the data exists, they can be compared. Let's take a quick look at the other charts that are available. The Macros tab contains 3 sub-tabs. This is the Macro Details chart, which shows a breakdown of the macros used by the selected transactions, ECBs or programs, and the number of times each of these macros were used. As with all the charts in zTREX, if all the available data is not visible, we can use the scroll bar to scroll across to view more data. The Macro Totals tab charts the total number of macros for each selected data collection item. And the Macro Details table shows the same information as the Macro Details chart, but in tabular format. The Instruction tab shows instruction counts. The Programs tab shows program entry counts, that is the number of times each program was entered. The Frames tab has 3 sub-tabs that show the number of 4K frames, 1M frames, and a comparison between them. Similarly, the Find tab shows find counts, the Files tab shows file counts, and the Pool tab charts the pool details. The Pool Gets tab shows pool gets, the Pool Releases tab shows pool releases, and the Pool Gets and Releases tab shows a comparison between them. The Detailed Pool Gets tab shows the detailed pool gets. This shows a breakdown by 4K short, 4K long, small short, small long, large short, and large long gets. Similarly, the Detailed Pool Releases tab shows the detailed pool releases. As with the gets, the breakdown is by 4K short, 4K long, small short, small long, large short, and large long. The Detailed Pool Gets and Releases chart allows us to compare them. Initially, we're shown a summary comparison of all the selected data items, but we can drill down to view more detail. In this example, we're viewing a summary of all the ECBs in the selected transaction, but we can drill down to view each ECB. We can look at each ECB in turn, and for each ECB, we can view a breakdown that compares gets and releases by 4K short, 4K long, small short, small long, large short, and large long for that ECB. The Function Calls tab shows function call counts. The DF Call tab shows the DF call counts, and the Tape tab shows tape reads, tape writes, and a comparison between them. Finally, let's take a closer look at the summary comparison table. If we click on the ECB tab, we can view the comparison between the ECBs for this transaction. Just as for the rest of zTREX, we can change the data we view by changing our selection. At the moment, we're viewing all the ECBs in this selected transaction. But if we select an ECB, then select the Program tab, we can view all the programs in the selected ECB. Any empty or unnecessary columns are not shown, but we can easily show hidden columns by clicking in the top left corner of the table and checking the relevant checkboxes. We can also hide specific columns by unchecking their checkboxes. Or by dragging the column header until the cursor includes an X, then dropping it. We can change positions of columns by dragging and dropping them. We can also sort the data into ascending or descending order by clicking on the column headers, and we can even filter the data according to one or more column. To see these features more clearly, let's load another transaction. Now let's select all the programs in this ECB as well as a few programs from another ECB in another transaction. zTREX now shows us a comparison between the selected programs. The bottom of the table shows the total counts for the selection. If we expand the Items column, you can see that the items can be identified by program name, ECB number, and transaction name. If we want to see these in separate columns, we can just show the relevant columns. We can sort the programs by clicking on the relevant column header, and we can filter the comparison by multiple columns. As an example, let's filter this data so we're only viewing programs with a 0 macro count. Now let's filter again to programs that were only entered once. We can also remove the filters to be able to see all the data again. Thanks for watching this demonstration of the analysis area of zTREX. If you haven't already watched them, you may want to watch the other two demos in this series. The first of these demos, entitled zTREX Transaction Recording, shows how to record transaction data in zTPFGI, and the second, zTREX Layout, provides an overview of the zTREX layout. To find out more about the rest of the zTPFGI suite, please watch some of our other demos that are available, take a look at our brochure, or contact us for further information.